I really wanted to make frites without pulling out a fryer. I looked at the internet, I looked at a bunch of recipes, and just basically none of them really worked. So I started experimenting and I finally hit it. So let's go through the process here. We're going to do it with two types of potatoes. We're going to do Yukon Gold and we're going to do Russet. And we're going to, see how they both turn out, give a little comparison. So what you want to do is you want to cut the potato into these sticks. And it's about a quarter inch, right? About a quarter inch square little sticks. I'm going to do that. And just, you're going to cut the whole potato up. Now, this is the Yukon Gold. I'm going to finish that in a minute. I already have the russets done. Okay, so here they are. They're in here in this water. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain them. I rinsed them in water like this. Get some of the starch off. Then I'm going to fill this back up again, and then I'm going to let this soak for about 30 minutes, and then we'll go on to the next step. So I'm going to finish the Yukon Gold, get them all set up to go to, and then we'll come back. The potatoes have been soaking now for about a half an hour or so, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain them, okay, and give them another rinse, just to make sure I got all that excess starch off of them. And we're gonna let them drain. I've already done that with the russets. They've already been, drained and everything. Now what I'm doing now is I'm just gonna lay them out. I've got, as you can see here, what I've got is this is a kitchen towel, and on top of the kitchen towel I have paper towel, and I am putting the potatoes on. Why? Because when we cook them, we really want them to be completely dry. We don't want them to have any surface water on them. So this is the easiest way to do it. Put some paper towel in a kitchen towel. You put them out. Separate them out a little bit, and then you just roll this whole thing up, just like this, right? And I'm just going to let this sit also for, I don't know, it's maybe 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. It's not really that important. But you want to make sure they're completely dry. So you get them to a certain point, then you're going to unroll it. You're just going to take them and let them sit out and air dry for a little bit, and then we'll get on to the next step. So I unrolled them. I let them sit here for a while. They're nice and dry. And I'm just going to toss them now in a bowl. Just grab and toss them in a bowl. And I'm going to do a little seasoning before I start the cooking process. And in this case, I'm just going to throw in some Cajun seasoning. First, I'll put in some olive oil. Then I'll put in the Cajun seasoning and toss that around. You could do all kinds of stuff. I mean, you could use Old Bay. You could use taco seasoning. You could use, I don't know, any kind of thing like, well, I'm gonna think of. I gotta tell you, I gotta think of a minute. Northwoods is another seasoning. Just any kind of thing that you might like to have on that. So I got it now with a nice bit of olive oil on it. Okay. I will now put in the Cajun seasoning, and you put in as much as you want. I mean, you want to make sure you got some on everything, and just kind of toss them around here with a pair of tongs. Is the easiest thing to use. A little bit more on here. I like to have a nice flavor on that. And then what I've got here is an oven roasting pan. I've got a grate on it. I like to put a little bit of parchment underneath so that this way it's easy to clean up later. So I'm just going to take these and I'm going to put them on top here. And we're going to enter phase one of the cooking process. I'm going to put these in the oven at 325 degrees. And I just want to sort of get an initial cook on them. I want to get them to soften. So that's going to take probably about 7 minutes. Could be a little more, could be a little bit less. Depends on exactly the size you've got. But that's what I'm going for. I've got the Yukon Golds here. I've got my Russets over here. They're going to go hit the oven. We'll be back in less than 10 minutes and we'll talk about it. Well, I got them where I want them. They're soft. See, they're softened up. That's really all I'm really headed for at this point. It's kind of a pre-cook to get them ready. And so let's let them cool down. Let them relax. You can do this a few hours in advance. Doesn't really matter. They're just going to sit around until it's time to do the final cook. And when that time comes, we'll come back. Well, I'm ready to do the final cook on these. And I've reset the oven now for 400 degrees. And I'm going to hit them both again with some more oil. And this is important, all right? I want to give them a nice coat of oil on the outside, right? And here are the Russets, and then I'm going to grab the Yukon Gold and do the same thing. This is important because I want to you got to put this on, you got to get a nice coat of oil, and then you have to get it in the oven right away because you don't want the oil. This is the oil that's going to do the frying. And so you don't want this oil to have any chance at all to soak into these fries. So here I am, I got them going like this, I spread them out, right? And then I am ready to stick these directly into my 400-degree oven. Now, this is going to take a while. This is not like, when you're frying in a deep fryer and it takes like, 5-10 minutes or something like that. This is going to take a good half an hour to get these things to where I want them, which is kind of like nice crispy brown with little bubbles on them. So we'll come back as soon as I get there. All right, it's time to take them out. We're going to pull them out of here. And I got you 2 different trays. This one is the Yukon Gold. And then I got the one over here, which is the Russet. Okay.
Okay, let me see. Yukon Gold here.
Correct.
Russets there.
That is correct. I'm going to take them, actually, get them off of here and put them there. There's a reason for that, too, because I want to be able to just throw a little bit of salt on them. So that's the Yukon Gold. Here's my Russets. You can see they're brown.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to put a little salt because the seasoning that I used did not actually have a lot of salt in it. All right, now we're going to give these a try. And the 2-stage bake, it sets you up for a thin and a brittle crust, which just kind of crunchy. And with outside, it's kind of nice and tender on the inside. That's the idea. Light, not greasy, drying the potatoes thoroughly, and oiling them twice, especially that second oiling that creates the frying effect, clings to the surface instead of soaking in. So they'll be much closer to proper bistro frites than typical oven frites. Crispy, light, well seasoned with enough crunch, right, to hang in there. Now, what do you think?
I've been comparing.
Yeah, what do you think?
I really like the Yukon Golds. They seem to have a crunchier outside.
Yep.
Than the Russets do, even though the Russet's kind of the traditional frying potato, I think.
Yeah, in this particular application, it does appear that the Yukon Golds get more of the frite type thing. That these stay a little bit they don't quite get that kind of crusty outside.
Yeah, they're still tasty.
Yeah, they're tasty, but
these are crunchy.
If you want the frite, go with the Yukon Golds.
We didn't know that before today, so hey.
We'll see you next time.